Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So this week we are going to be talking about something very, very powerful. Last week we spoke about what? What did we talk about last week? Eh? Yes, about personal responsibility. And the week before that, what did we talk about? The best investment you can make, which is your investment in yourself. So we're going to be talking about something very, very common, and it's something we do every day. So we're going to be talking about communication. Communication. So let's start with you. What does communication mean, Miss Favor? Yes. I'm writing. It is what? Transmission of information from one person to another. Miss Favor Abi 2026 Abi. Who else? Yeah. Miss Ren, how will you define communication? You are the communication expert, so I believe you should be able to give me a beautiful definition. Hey, grammar. Hmm. Dissemination of information. Beautiful. That's nice. Dissemination of information. Let's write it. Dissemination of information. I even like it's like a lyric. Miss Uren also. Okay. Miss Ayo. Sharing your thoughts. So sharing your thoughts, feelings, body language. I like that. That's out of the box. Okay. You are working. No, you cannot work. Oh. You cannot work. Oh. It's 30 minutes every week. So you cannot work when you are doing this one. After the 30 minutes, don't worry, you can work your work. Okay. Communication is the exchange of sharing information. Exchange of sharing information. Which one should I take? Exchange of information or sharing of information? Okay. Sharing of information. Okay. Okay. Communication. Interaction between two bodies, between two or more bodies, passing passing the information through mediums, through some mediums. Sorry, sir. It's correct, To understand, that's the part that I love. To understand what is key. This part is key. Mr. Semi, 2026. I want someone from the online space to give us definition of communication. One person, please. Just raise your hand and tell us a quick definition of communication. One person. I will call names. Oh, yeah, Miss Aisha. What's the definition of communication in your terms? Is Miss Aisha with us? Miss Aisha. Walaikum salam. What's the definition of communication? That's where we are at. We are talking about communication today, so we just want to have a full house idea of what communication is. Okay, who else can give a definition of communication? Okay, Mr. Bello, please proceed. Good afternoon, Mr. Bello. Hmm. Hmm. Wow, I like that. Passing a message between two or more people, Abi, with the hope of a feedback, Abi. That's very brilliant. Everybody actually defined it nicely, but it was just not complete. But everybody, if we merge all what we said, then it will be complete. The first part of communication has to do with transfer of information. Do you understand? And I think practically everybody mentioned that. The fact that we share information. But it's not just to share information, is actually to share the information in a manner that the person that receives the information understands what we intended with the information. Is it clear? Now, if you are passing an information to someone and the receiver receives the information, but the information he receives is not what you intended, would you have communicated? No. So that's the part. So the other, and that's why I said I liked the understand part. But the person doesn't just understand because he's going to understand something. But what does he understand? So you have a wife, she did something you didn't like. Then you shouted at her. I don't like, for example, maybe you're an organized person. I don't like it when footwears are scattered at the entrance. She's not used to that. So you shouted at her, I don't like the way footwears are arranged at the entrance. But she's a woman, she's emotional. Even though you were saying those words, she didn't hear any of those words. The only thing she picked was, you shouted at me. So what communication has occurred? You intended to make her know that this specific thing, I don't like it. That's what your intention, and that's what you intended to pass across. But the person receiving it, what is the person receiving? A message of what? This person is shouting at me. That's the only thing the person is saying. All what you are saying, all those words, I don't like this, I've said it many times. She didn't hear any of this. The only part she's hearing is what? He's shouting at me. And if anybody asks her what happened, he always likes to shout at me. Do you see it now? So the essence of this class, the reason we are establishing this class, is for us to be able to make effective communication such that the party with which we are communicating with understands what we intend for them to understand. And at the end of the day, they go ahead to do what we want them to do. Because if you say it and they understand what you intend, but they don't do what you intend, what's the point of saying it? Do you get it? So this, there's a skill to it. Do you understand? So now we see the missing part. So the only missing part that and is the most important part is the fact that what your intention must be gotten. If your intention is not gotten, you've not communicated. So they say tell this person something. If you just tell the person that something and that person doesn't get the message, you've not communicated. So now that we understand what communication means, are we with us? Is everybody getting the information online? Raise your hands if you are getting, if you understood what I just said, because we're about to move to another aspect. Just raise your hands. I just want to know that. Be sure. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So now everybody understands what communication means and the most important part of it, which is the aspect of what? Making sure the information you intend is what is received. The second aspect is now, why is it important? I gave an example of spouses. The truth is, we are human beings. Every single day we interact, and the quality of our lives is dependent on the quality of, one, how we interact, two, who we interact with. That's what it is. If you are in a high profile community where people are well to do, your ability to communicate effectively when you need something is what will determine the quality of your life. You need money. You have someone that has the money you need. Your ability to be able to tell that person that I am the best person you can give your money to, and I'll give you so, 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 and so, and they would believe that this is true, will determine your ability to be rich. If you are looking for a spouse, your ability to communicate your intentions with respect to the kind of marriage you want, the kind of person you are looking out for, and when you find that kind of person, the ability to be able to key that person down is dependent on what? Communication. Do you understand? So I can summarize it as this: your success in life is dependent on the quality of your communication. Whether in marriage, with respect to your relationships, in business, with respect to your relationships with people, in anything you are doing in life. No one is going to achieve anything alone. If you want to go to a bank and you want to get investment opportunities, you need to talk to someone. There's a manager there. You're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to communicate your ideas. You're going to have to be able to pitch to them for them to release their hard earned money. It's practically anywhere. So, in as much as you are dealing with people, you must know how to communicate. And if you don't know how to communicate, you are going to lose. It's just that simple. And the very moment you strengthen your communication, you have strengthened your ability to earn, you have strengthened your ability to be happy. I'm telling you, you'll be very happy. You know, when you are confident that this person, when I talk to the person now, is going to accept, you know how happy you're going to be. And if the person is someone so important to you, your ability to constantly be able to let the person understand what you want, and the person understanding that thing, and the person being able to do those things, is one of those things that makes relationships amazing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying in essence is, why communication is important is because life as a whole does not make sense when your communication is weak. The quality of your life, whether financially, whether with respect to your homes, everybody comes from different homes every single day, whether with other business counterparts, if you go to become business people in future, or even with your colleagues, as we have here, once your communication is weak, you would continue to have issues. It's just that simple. And the very moment your communication is strong, what happens is what? You're able to achieve more. Do you understand? And you are able to live a life without stupid grudges. Because grudges are actually stupid. But that's by the way. Do you understand this? So this is the second part. So now everybody knows what communication is about. Hmm? Everybody knows why it's important, right? Who can tell me why it's important? Miss Favor, why is it important? You know I like to call you, always be ready. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. Do you understand this? So the quality of our lives is dependent on communicating. Now let me ask a simple question. When we communicate, what are the things that are involved? What are the things when you say you are communicating, what are the kind of things you do? If you are online, you can also speak. Oh, everybody, we are all together. So when we say we communicate, what are the things we do? What are the actions we take that shows that we are communicating? Eh? Response. What kind of response?
Depending on your interaction.
I won't don't think deep. It's simple. Like when I say I'm communicating with you, if I say I want to communicate with you, what is the first thing I do? I talk to you. Thank you. Very simple. So when we want to communicate, one of the first things we do is we speak. You don't need to raise your hand. If you have anything to say, just mention it. If you're online, we will hear you. So the first thing is you speak. What again do we do?
Can I have good afternoon?
Good
Can I
afternoon,
have
Miss Koyo.
communication? Non-verbal communication that like signs. When I say
Yes. Yes, you have verbal and non-verbal communication. You speak whether verbally or non-verbally. Yes, that's with signs, with body language. But basically, we are sending information. That's the first part. The second part is what? Receiving. That's what I want you to get. And that's the aspect that has to do with what? Listening. That's all. Those are the two aspects. Is there any third aspect? Does anyone know any third aspect? The sending, the receiving. Is there any other part? Hmm? Does anyone know any other part? I'm ready to learn. You like to talk like we're in secondary school sometimes. You are not in secondary school, you are practical. Okay, if you tell me encoder, decoder, and everything, give me the encoder in our own communication now.
It's like okay, you speaking, then the people is like transmitting and understanding what you
We have said it now. You are telling me what they taught you in school. Okay, where did you learn it? Uh, in your textbook. Okay, leave textbook. Everything we do here is practical. Whenever I ask you questions, I ask you questions that I expect you to be able to just think. Don't think deep. It's surface level questions. Don't don't bring textbook. I don't like book. Oh. Sorry for chanting at you. Sorry about that. But I'm not a book person. I'm not a book person. I like practical things, things that everyday people can understand, because that's what's important. Do you understand? I went to school too. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to school, but you get the point. So it's more like when we talk about communication, we are talking about what? Sending a signal, which is more like speaking, whether verbally or non-verbally. And the second part is what? Receiving that signal, which is listening. Which of them is more important? Which of them is the most important? Hmm? Both. Okay. Missourian said both. Abu Zaid, which of them is most important? Sending or receiving, speaking or listening? Which of them is the most important?
because for effective communication, effective, somebody that the person truly let you know that if he or she understands that you are understanding what they are understanding.
Beautiful. Abu Zaid said receiving, which is listening. Okay. Miss Ayon. Speaking. Okay. Which of them is the most important?
Follow my important.
So both equally important
For mutual understanding.
for mutual understanding. Both. Mr. Abdulsemen, Miss Favor.
Speaking is more important because you have to be
The truth about it is this: our nature's experience and our natures and our life experience is what determines which we see is to be most important. Do you understand? But both are actually important. Do you understand? Both listening and speaking are most important. However, the hardest of the two, which is the most lacking in most communities and most conversations, is not usually speaking, it's listening. Do you understand? So both are important because if there's no signal sent, there's nothing to receive. And if signal is sent and you don't receive it, it's still nothing. So both are very important. But one is more deficient in most communications than the other. And the one that is most deficient is what? Listening. It's easier to speak than to listen. Not to hear, to listen. So what's the difference between hearing and listening? Who can tell me? Someone online, tell me the difference between hearing and listening. I heard you. I listened to you. When you say that, what's the difference between the two of them? Mystery and prepare your response to. What's the difference between hearing and listening? Or isn't there any difference?
Hearing is hearing is just kind of like you know the person is talking. Just acknowledging that person is talking.
Yes, more like you are receiving information.
Yes, I just giving the signal, but listening is understanding.
Beautiful. I love that. You've finished it. When you hear someone, you seek to just pick information. When you listen, you seek to understand. And the way to know when you are hearing and when you are listening is when you are talking to someone, and when the person says 2 sentences or 3 sentences, you are preparing to give your response. Know that you are not listening, you are hearing. And what happens is the very moment you start preparing to give your response, your thought pattern shifts. You are no longer listening to what the person is saying. What you should do is that when a person comes to discuss something with you, you should give the person 100% focus, attention to understand everything the person intends. Is it clear? The goal is to understand. You might have ideas. Many times, those ideas that come, if you don't honor them and you try to understand what the person is saying, and you realize sometimes you don't even need to say much. So, listening is deficient. That's why I started with it. But we are going to talk about both. Both speaking, it's already one. So I'll have to wrap up quickly. So I'll quickly speak about each aspect. So speaking is the sending of the signal. Listening is the receiving signal. So for sending the signal, there are 3 aspects to it. 3 key aspects. The first aspect of sending your signal is to understand the situation. Do you understand? Someone did something that upset you. Someone did something that made you feel bad. Understand that situation and understand what that thing that the person did is. That thing you want to change, understand what that thing is. You must pick it like this and know what it is. Do you understand? That's the first thing. The second thing is that you must understand your feelings and emotions about it. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel angry? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel irritated? You must understand the feeling that comes with it. And the last thing is what you want the person to do to ensure that thing doesn't happen again. Is it clear? Those are the 3 things you need for you to be able to send an effective message. You must understand the situation. You must understand what? Your emotions. And you must understand what? What, not necessarily the solution, what you want the person to do. So let's give the example of the couple that has footwear are disorganized. So instead of coming in to shout, and maybe they greet you, say, it's a communication style like you are vexing already. Do you understand? So what you do is you can you're normal, even though you felt upset. Do you understand? And maybe while you are discussing about how the day went, then you can now say, I would like to discuss something. I would like to say something. So, and your statement must have those 3 things. The situation. I noticed the footwear was not properly arranged when I got it. How did it make you feel? It made me feel irritated, usually because of our upbringing. Anything that is not organized usually just throws me off balance. What do you want the person to do? I want you to be more conscious. I know you are making efforts, but sometimes you forget. So I want you to be more conscious. Do you understand? Subsequently, so that you keep it organized. Do you understand? Do you think the person will not get the message? If the person values you well enough to care about your emotions, the person will get that message. And if the person doesn't value you well enough to get the information, the question is, why are you in such a relationship? Do you understand what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying clear? So your ability to impute these three things when you are communicating is what makes your communication, your signal, effectively what? Sent. So the person receives it. Because you are not shouting, there's no barrier. Because you are trying to let the person understand how you feel about it, the person takes it important. And because you are already specifying what exactly you want them to change, what happens? The person is more conscious of what they need to do to change. Is what I'm saying clear? So we've spoken about sending. Now about receiving, which is listening. It also has three aspects to it. The first is what we mentioned before. Listen with the goal of understanding. Do you understand? Or let me even start with this, because this precedes it. The first is to make eye contact. Most people don't make eye contact. You know what it means to make eye contact? To look people in the eye. No, most people don't like to look people in the eye. Eh? Why? Eh? Is it a culture thing? It shows confidence. It shows the truth about it is it shows confidence. And those who don't like confidence or confident people around them will be uncomfortable when you show confidence. But being confident is not something that is bad. And it in fact shows that you know what you want and what you want the person to do. So it puts you in a position of authority. So when you want to talk to someone and you want something from them, you look them in the eye. So that's the first thing. So if you do that, what you are going to do is you are going to actually grab their attention to take you seriously. Is it clear? So learn to look people in the eye. Eh? Don't be scared. Sometimes when you practice like, it's not easy. After a while, you get used to it. Do you understand? Look them in the eye. Though they are going to be context, obviously. But you should look them in the eye. Because the truth about it is when you look people in the eye, it also shows another part, which is innocence. Yes. When someone looks you in the eyes, it's more like, I have nothing against you. So the context of how you are dealing with things. If someone is talking to me, I can't be looking down. No, I'll look at you in the eye. Whether you are 100, like, I'll look you in the eye. Do you understand? And if anyone has issues with that, I believe it's not your problem, it's their problem. Yes, it's not your problem. If they are not comfortable with it, it's because they don't do it. And they might even have confidence issues. And if they are close enough, you can help them. As in, just help them with things like this. Do you understand? And they'll not see it as a major issue. So, but most people that I know, and you have to be confident to make moves. And that's why I say, if you go to a bank and you want to talk to the cashier and you're already looking down, it shows lack of confidence. But if you're looking at them in the eye, they know that this person knows what they want. And you say what you want politely, and you say, I need to see the manager. What you want is something very important and urgent. Can you let him know that Mr. Temi is outside waiting for him? The manager doesn't even know who Mr. Temi is. But if they tell the manager, Mom, Mr. Temi wants to see you, who is Mr. Temi? I don't know who Mr. Temi is. Just tell him Mr. Temi. I need to see him immediately. Do you understand? And they will usher you in because they don't know who Mr. Temi is. That's the truth. And if you know what you want to present, you will present it and you will move. If it's valuable enough, they will even appreciate you for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So looking at people in the eye is very, very powerful. So that's the first place. We're talking about listening now. So when you want to listen, the same thing with when you want to speak. You should look people in the eye. Do you understand? So you look them in the eye, you lean forward. If you are seated, if you are relaxed, or you are cross-armed, you show sign that okay, I want to listen to you. To you. Do you understand? You bend forward. So that gives the person the intention that okay, this person wants to take me serious. So they too, they try to what, present the information in the best possible manner. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the second aspect, we mentioned how you should look. What was the second aspect that I said that was to come before this? You listen with the intention of what? Understanding. Do you understand? And when you now do that, you now try to get a clear picture and ask questions that makes you understand the parts that are ambiguous. Do you understand? So someone comes to meet you. It depends on the kind of person. If the person knows about communication, the person would have given you what they intend. If the person doesn't know how to communicate, which is what you will find in most situations, the person will not be able to tell you exactly what they want. So your ability to ask questions to get a clear understanding of what it is they actually want is what will now determine what response you would give. So you see that the response is later. And whether you even need to what respond. Some people want to just talk to you for the sake of letting things out to someone. That's just what they want. So your ability to be able to do all of this is what will ensure you have what effective what communication. Whether you are doing it from the sender side or you're doing it from what the receiver side. I hope it's clear. Who does not understand today's class? So tell me, what are you going to be doing different from today and when you communicate? Let's be quick. It's already 15 after. So we have eye contact. If you do eye contact, beautiful. What about you? What will you be doing differently?
I'll be more confident when I'm looking for this one.
How will you do that?
By letting the person know what I want, direct the message to the person so they'll pass it through.
Okay, beautiful. What about you? What are you going to be doing differently today from today? Eh? You are going to be clear. Okay, how? Being speaking audibly, beautiful. Just that. That's all we learned. Okay. You people are the ones that will present next week. Hope you people know. We've done. We've done. I'm communicating that now. We've done 3 classes. So for each of the classes we've done, I want you to just pick one point you've learned, one point, just that one point you learned it, how you implemented it, and how it affected you positively. So for the 3 classes, it's going to be what? 3 points, 3 implementations, and 3 effects. And if it affected you negatively, come and tell us. It's feedback. So you have your maybe fair. I think 2 minutes should be fine for each person. 2 minutes is fine. Just brief explanation. So I've communicated it clearly, man. Okay. Thank you very much. Time is fast spent. Thank you very much for your time. For those of us online, did we find this beneficial? Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'm glad we did. So, and we got the assignment for next week too. Don't worry, I'm going to make a voice note and send it. So everybody will be able to get it clearly. Thank you very much for your time. It's been nice speaking to you. And I ask that God makes this a source of good for us now and beyond. Thank you very much and have a wonderful week ahead.
Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.